Let's go.
Let's do it.
Happy Monday. Well, welcome back, Miss Kate Gardner. Oh, by the way, Kate, I'm going to start off the show. I'm going to say I'm mad at you.
Why?
Because I want your butt here in Michigan, and I want the rest of your body with you. Okay, with that being said, welcome back to another Bold Biz Chat. Oh my God, we've got this really nice, beautiful, amazing guest today, Kate, and she's hanging out in our green room before we bring her out. She's going to see the antics. She's going to hear the antics between Kim and Kate before we bring her out on this show. But welcome back to another Monday Bold Biz Chats for these bold CEOs. And man, our guest, she is about women taking the lead in women. Oh, this is going to be a really good conversation today with women taking the lead. Because Kate, you and I have had numerous amount of conversations about how women are stepping back, are still stepping back and playing small and lacking self-worth and not stepping into their leadership role. And we got a really cool woman, Jodi, who really leads and walks her talks. And I just recently met her on social media, and it's just like one of those conversations I have with Jodi. It's like I felt like I've known her for a long time. So we're going to have some damn good fun today.
Good. It's all about stepping up. It's all about getting them goals that you want to do and completing them. And the only way to do that is step up. So I'm looking forward to this interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little few reminders here. We're broadcasting live on Bold Radio Station. Big shout out to the amazing team. We've got a cool producer, Nesha, who will serve us whatever we want, choice of beverage. I've required an ice cold beer because I just ate some pretzels with salt. You could have some tea, glass of wine, whatever. We just kind of put in the request, and he is our amazing man. He's an amazing producer. We've got another cool producer, Damian, and our director of operations, Ingrid. I love giving those guys big shouts every week because I so am in awe and appreciative of them. Kate, what do you have going on, girlfriend? You got a lot up those sleeves of yours.
I know. I have my retirement book project that I'm leading with some hot chick in the USA. I don't know who she is. So we have our book project to really celebrate our last book, our last anthology book ever together in December. And leading up to that is really transitioning out and not publishing anymore and teaching other people to publish so that I can place publishers in the market to rise up and take head with this and really build their own platforms and their own publishing companies, and then transitioning into the Missing Piece magazine next year fully.
Yeah, so let's stay here just for a quick second. You and I are both retiring. You're retiring from leading anthologies and publishing anthologies. I'm retiring from leading anthologies. And you and I have joined forces. We are going to launch the last anthology this year in December. This is it. We're only taking 15 co-authors. Normally we do 30. We're only doing 15. We've cut it in half so that the women can have more elbow space to write, more verbiage, more words to add to their chapters. But I'm done. I am done. And I'm going to be so proud of this anthology you and I are doing because we're really calling it out. We want the women in the book to simply write about the BS, no bullshit about business here and what it takes. And in fact, our guest today, Jodi, her and I've had some behind the scenes conversations about, business and building and, and things that we all go through as business owners and, how we're turning left and maybe now the road needs to take us to a right-hand turn. And I don't mean to minimize that, but that's my quickest analogy in the moment. But I can't wait to talk about all of this amazing stuff today. But if anyone's interested in being involved with mine and Kate's last project, get in touch with either myself or Kate. You can reach me through boldradiostation.com, and you can get in touch with Kate at
themissingpiecemagazine.com.
Yep. So you've got this new magazine coming out in January. I have to tell you, Kate, we've been talking, you've been, I'm so proud. I'm so proud about learning all of this about the platform of the magazine. You have to understand, Kate, from day one that I met you, about 4 or 5 years ago, you've always been like this. When you say you're going to go learn something, I've always sat back and go, geez, oh, Pete, I need to take a nap to keep up with you. I mean, you do it, and you are so organized. Like our first articles for the January magazine, they're due this month. I mean, you are really on top of it, making all of us be on top of it, and just I's dotted, T's crossed, major organization. And I'm loving this. And that's one of the pieces that you lead, so to speak.
Yeah, you've got to be organized. If you're not organized and you're overwhelmed, you're taking on too much. And I have that many things to do and projects to see to and people to lead that if I was not organized, I'd be screwed. I'd be absolutely screwed.
Yep.
So I go out of my way to put in systems to be keeping it simple, to keep on track always, and everything's scheduled into my life. Even my lunch break is scheduled into my life. Even my run is scheduled into my life. And if I run my life by that, I'm completely organized, which is then leaving a great imprint for anyone that I'm leading in my projects. So the entire team of the writers for the magazine have now been picked. They're all in a closed group. They all have a timeline. They all have subjects for the next 12 months. They all have submission dates, launch dates. They know when everything is actually due and due to be released. So they have dates now for the next 12 months. So there's not anything that nobody can say, well, I don't know what I'm writing about. I don't know what I'm doing. I kind of run my company the way that I don't have to then I don't then have to answer so many questions. It's all placed in front of them. They all know what they're doing.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm going to take, and I'm the same way. I love to be organized. I've taken all the topics per each month. They go into my calendar and I schedule them, 2 weeks before they're due so I can get that stuff over. And if I'm running a little behind, I've got that 2 weeks elbow space. So I'm really excited. I cannot wait to submit my first article. Yeah, and I'm sitting on the chair here for the about the video, but I know you're giving us elbow space on that. I need to get in a momentum with the videos as well, but it's so cool. I don't have to do that every month. It's really neat. It's this whole platform is going to be fun. But anyways, before we get rocking and rolling here, I want to really quickly, I've got a really cool sponsor for the show. Let's take a quick break here and let's listen to our advertiser. Be right back.
Want the perfect dog leash? Get a Razor Canine leash. Forget about leather. They wear out and break or stain your hands when they get wet. And nylon leashes are too rough on your skin. But not a Razor Canine leash. They're made with a smooth texture or a super grip. They're waterproof, extremely durable, and the colors won't rub off on your hands. Walk your dog with class with a made in the USA Razor Canine leash. The stitching and riveting design was developed by a professional dog trainer. Check them out at razorcanine.com.
Those are the best leashes out there in this country, in this world. Razor Canine, this gentleman, Ray, we call him Uncle Ray because Grace, my dog Grace, loves Uncle Ray. And Ray and his wife, they make and manufacture these awesome dog leashes. So anybody listening in, if you have a dog, you need to go to the razork9.com website. Order yourself one of these leashes. Kate, we'll take care of you when you come to visit. We'll get a leash for your baby, our little baby Pooh. But these leashes are made of rubber. They've got nibs on them, and so when I'm out like walking in the rain, they don't slip through my hand. They don't contract germs like a leather leash can or a nylon leash can. They're wipeable. I love them. So go check out these leashes. They are amazing. Okay, are we ready to rock and roll?
We sure are.
We got a really cool guest. I've been saying that. Jodi, Miss Jodi Flynn, come on down and thank you for being here today. We so appreciate that.
It's so great to be here with you and Kate. I'm honored. I've been listening to you ladies and I love the energy that you bring to your show. So it's fun. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so before we get rocking and rolling even more here, Jodi, can you just really quickly tell us a little bit about yourself? Let the audience know a little bit about you.
Sure. I am the founder of Women Taking the Lead. It's a podcast and a community of entrepreneurial minded women who want to step up and create something big in their life. Typically, the women who are part of the community listening to the podcast, they know they're meant for something bigger, and they're in that place where it's almost like they don't know why they're not there already. And so they're trying to figure it out. And they listen to the podcast to listen to women like you, Kim, who came on, and I interviewed you, and the other guests act as virtual mentors for these women, right? As kind of like goalposts of where people can see what's possible. And you were so gracious to come on and share your journey and the resources that you use that help shape who you are as a leader. So by listening to my guests, my audience has an opportunity to learn from them. And not everyone has mentors, surrounding them who can help guide them. So that's why I say the podcast acts as a virtual mentor for my listeners. And for me personally, I'm based in Southern Maine. I'm originally from Worcester, Massachusetts. I grew up in a big family. I'm the middle child, and I have 7 brothers and sisters. So definitely busy, chaotic child life. And I think that is where I started to become a leader myself, where I learned some of the skills that I even use today in my business for how to get along with people, how to deal with different personalities, how to share, and how to deal with not always getting what you want. Those are definitely some skills I learned in a big family.
Jodi, real quickly, you are connected with Erica Kastner, correct?
I
Yes.
am. She was another guest on my show.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you two have a lot in common. She's the oldest of a large family, and she's all about, leadership as well. But there's so much that lies, the BS that lies around the word leadership. And I'm going to pick on our gender today. And I know Kate will too, because First of all, the 3 of us are women. And number 1, number 2, I work a lot with women. I have a couple male clients, but the majority of my business are women. And, this word leadership, I mean, when I was prepping last night for the show today, it came over me that, gosh, I can only imagine some of these women when they see leadership, they think about like I got to be a bitch about this. In fact, it's so interesting. I was in a conversation yesterday talking about business and something that I had to be very firm and factual about, because I'm all about the double F, firm and factual, and you know what this woman replied to me? She said, God, we just have to be a bitch in business. And I'm like, no, we don't. No, it's not about being bitchy in business. That's not what leadership is. Leadership is about being firm and factual, and how to remove, leave the emotional, the personal baggage in the trunk of the car when you come into the business, meeting. And I want to know, Jodi, what do you find out there around women that's dancing in that leadership role? What's the biggest trial and tribulations you're seeing with women?
Probably the biggest thing for women when it comes to leadership is just their definition of what it means to be a leader, because I come across women all the time where my instinct after interacting with them is like, wow, they're such a powerful person. They're an amazing leader. But when I give them that feedback, they're like, oh, no, that's not me. I'm not a leader. And I'm like, what do you mean? And when we get into it, they have this definition in their head that a leader is like the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, right? It's a very, very powerful person. And what they don't realize is actually we're all leaders. It's really just a question of how well do we lead? Are you able to, put forth your vision of what you want and persuade people to go along with your idea? Are you great at building relationships? You know, leadership is a very common, simple thing, but we make it out to be this big deal, this enormous responsibility. And that's the other thing I come across, where people are afraid to take on leadership roles because they're afraid that they're just going to be burdened with the responsibility of it. But what they don't realize is, you know, we're always growing and we're always gaining new skills and mastering things. Whenever we take on something new in our life, we do have to stretch ourselves a little bit, you know, to learn what it takes, learn the skills that are going to make us successful at that level. But just like anything, just like when we went from grammar school to junior high and junior high to high school, you know, that transition was a little bumpy, but we eventually got to a point where we were like, this is no big deal. I've got this handled. The same thing happens in leadership. When you take on more leadership, you develop the skills, and eventually your thought is, I've got this. This is no problem.
You know, I like that. I like that a lot. So, Kate, I'll be quiet here in a minute so you can jump in. Okay. But I want to bring something up. You know, Jodi, I really want to get in here. With you personally, is you launched this like a year ago. Did you just surpass your 1 year anniversary, or you're just coming up to it, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I just passed it in March. So I'm just over the 1 year mark for my podcast.
Yes, congratulations. And, you know, and you and I had a conversation off air. You know, I reached out to you and said, wanted to have a phone call. And we, you know, between our schedules, we landed some time. And we were talking, you know, some of the things as a CEO of your business and as a woman in your environment there and, you know, out there on the East Coast in Maine, you are leading. I mean, you are a leader. You are leading. And I know that there are some days out there, and Kate and I have had these conversations. I'm like, damn, I'm leading. And let me tell you, it is like cricket city. You know, I can hear so many crickets.
Yes.
You know, we have to keep going. We have to keep laying the seeds down, even though maybe on Monday no one shows up. But by Friday, we may have a slew of people. But I want you to share, Jodi, you know, 1 year. And by the way, happy anniversary of the one. We're past the 1 year anniversary of your podcast. And, you know, I think your business has been around a little bit longer than that as well. Is share with us some of the things that you are going through right now as a CEO, and you know you're not a CEO of a Fortune 500, doesn't mean you're not today and you possibly may be tomorrow, that you are dealing with. Because, you know, we've all been there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm dealing with several things right now. I think, especially as a small business owner, and I'm a solopreneur. I have a coaching business. You know, I have the podcast, but that's an extension of the coaching that I do. You know, you're constantly trying to balance, you know, time for your clients, time to market, right, and time to do sales. And so, you know, when you're new in business, you're probably 90% of your time is spent marketing and trying to figure out marketing and how to market and who you're marketing to. And now I'm getting to the point where I need to pull back on how much marketing I'm doing, or I should say this, how much marketing I'm personally doing in the business. The phase I'm in my business is I've just recently hired a virtual assistant, and within the past like week and a half, 2 weeks. And so we're in that transition where I'm offloading some of my tasks to her and doing the training process. And like, it's bumpy, you know, nothing's perfect. I mean, we had technical difficulties. You know, she gave me great compliments. I really admire her for that. She made me feel good where she said the checklists and the videos I sent to her were great. But of course, there were some things that were missing because it was the first time. And, you know, we think we know how to do our job, but putting what we do down on paper, that's a whole different task, and then handing it off to her.
Yep.
So that's definitely something, the challenge I'm dealing with right now, although it is going really well. And I've done this before. I've had to delegate before, and I have other friends who've delegated it as well and warned that, you know, for every hour you spend on a task, plan on spending 3 training somebody else to do that task or more. You know, so I definitely went in eyes wide open. And so because of that, I found, and my new virtual assistant gave me the feedback that I'm a very patient person. And, I tried sharing with her, it's not that I'm patient. It's just I knew what to expect. So the fact that this 1 hour task is taking us 3 hours to nail down, I'm okay with that because that's what I expected. Go ahead.
I think, that was awesome. I think it's the lack of the expectations that we have, maybe going into something as simple as this is coming up short. And then we as the business owner gets frustrated. Then we get frustrated because that was one of the things you and I were talking about a couple months ago was, gosh, Kim, I'm doing all the work. Plus I'm a mom. Plus I've got a life and all. And I'm like, this is the biggest thing with being a solopreneur, owning a business. And you're like, my next step really quickly here is to hire a VA and a virtual assistant. So congratulations, you did it. Yay.
I did it.
Because you mentioned that to me a couple months ago, and it's just making that transition. But I think it's setting up realistic, expectations because I'm going to swing back to Kate. I'm very privileged and I'm very privy to what goes on. Kate and I are not only colleagues and partners and, partnering up on this book and been co-authors and stuff. We are on Skype calls, it's been a couple of weeks. We're due. We talk, about once every 2 weeks and get caught up. So Kate, I knew what you were going through behind the scenes with building your magazine platform and learning all of that. But you know what? I've got to give you a shout out because you were still closing down at 5, 6 o'clock at night to go cook dinner. You've got a grandbaby to unwind with a glass of wine and to just maybe sit and watch a movie to decompress the brain to go at it the next day. Where, I think those are beautiful expectations, beautiful boundaries. Where sometimes when we're launching a product, sometimes we do need to work 1 or 2 days around the clock. I think it's when I hear these women, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm trying to balance. And by the way, ladies, there's no balance between work and life. Life is life. It's setting up schedules and being organized and boundaries and the expectations and not beating ourselves down time and time again. So Kate, it was really cool to watch you. You were working your butt off.
Oh yeah, I was working
No
my
doubt.
butt off. Absolutely. Yeah. I was working my backside off. I wake at 5 a.m. By 6, I'm out for a run. By 8 o'clock, I'm showered and dressed and on my desk, in front of my computer. But it was having something that I didn't have before. Last year, I didn't have. And the year before, I didn't have boundaries. I bowed down too many times to clients to the point that I really made myself sick. And I took 5 months out, I took 5 months off work and I took time out to heal. And I thought I need to heal and I need to get my shit together. And I need to find out what all the weaknesses are and really work on them weaknesses to make them strengths and come back with more organization, more systems, better systems, delegation, so that I'm really not bowing down to too many people. I've got my boundaries. I'm not giving away too much of myself. And that's what I did. I kind of reinvented myself and then I came back because I'd learned by over delivering. I'd learned by giving too much away. I'd learned by not having them boundaries. And it all came into spiritual laws. I really learned spiritual laws, and the ones that I was learning, I was applying to my life. I wasn't just learning them, I was becoming them. And it was making me a whole lot stronger. So it was having the boundaries in place. So I've been there, I've done that, I've worn the t-shirt, I've worked myself to exhaustion, and I learned from it. And I came back and I knew that if I was going to launch something like this big, like a magazine that's going to touch 1 million lives in 2 years, I knew that I couldn't go down the same route as I went down before. Yep. So I had to reinvent myself, and I had to sit there and I had to learn exactly what it was that I needed to do, no matter how long it took. But I did know that if I didn't cut off at 6 p.m. and I didn't have my life like I was doing before, I would have been over delivering myself, and then my kids wouldn't have got the attention that they deserved from their mother. My partner wouldn't have got the attention that he deserves from his partner, and it would have been just downhill all over again. And we're going to go back down that road of me over delivering and making me exhausted again. But I knew now, I went, no,
Yeah.
I don't care if it takes me a bit longer to actually make this happen or put the systems in place. What I do know is that I will keep hard at it every single day, but I will cut off at some point. And that is it. It's like after this radio show today, that was it. I'll shut down, and I won't even answer a message till tomorrow morning. And it's my boundaries, and it's like not bowing to no man. That was one of the biggest spiritual laws that I learned as well, because I was over delivering myself far too much. If a customer paid for something, I was giving them triple back, and it was kind of like, no, I've lived all this, I've experienced it all, I've worn myself in. I took 5 months off. I came back. I actually redid myself. I relaunched myself. I became what I am now, and I won't go back on that.
Yeah, I love that. Jodi, have you ever experienced that as you were, especially getting the podcast up and out the door, and on top of it, your coaching business and kids, and then I know you physically get out in your area and you lead groups and you network and things like that. I mean, did you ever get to that point, and how did you pull yourself out, and what systems listen, I'm going to say this. I never thought in my whole life I would say this. Systems, ladies, everyone listening, systems are sexy. Oh my God, they give you freedom. They do this. I mean, I never thought in a million years. So, Jodi, I mean, first of all, Jodi, you are damn organized with that podcast. I know as a guest, I was like bowing down, paying homage to you, girl. So what did you do to implement as the leader that you are to experience so that in turn you can share it with others?
Well, I have to say, Kim, I found myself where Kate was describing so many times. So many times it's ridiculous. Like, I am famous for pushing, going at something really hard and then crashing and having to just check out from things for a while. I mean, I remember when I was in my corporate job, I gave like 200% during the week. And then at night and on the weekends, I couldn't get off the couch because I was so exhausted. I brought so much energy to my job. But I'm with Kate. You do have to have boundaries around your time and how much you give. You know, it sounds, and it's one of the things I'm writing about in my ebook. There's a whole section on self-care. And I actually just released a bonus episode on Friday for my podcast about self-care, because this is the thing. You might on paper be successful, but if you're not taking care of yourself, you won't feel successful. You'll feel tired. You'll feel like you're not enough. And emotionally, you'll put yourself in a place where bad news impacts you harder because you're emotionally not in a state where you can receive bad news and respond to it in a rational and mature way. It hurts when you're tired. And so if you want to not only achieve success, but also be able to maintain it so you don't have those crash periods where you have to just shut down and recover, you do have to set boundaries. And that includes like throughout the day. I'm sure Kate has in her day times where she takes a break, even if it's only 5-10 minutes, to step away, take a breath, stretch, drink some water, take care of yourself. I mean, it's not a one and done thing. It doesn't just happen at 5 or 6 o'clock at night. It has to happen throughout the day because our energy ebbs and flows. And we have to be responsible that when it ebbs, to do things that will help, bring it back up, that make us feel good.
Yeah, I agree. I just recently, I have a fitness business here locally here in my backyard, and I don't keep it large anymore. I've toned it way down. But you want to know what I've been doing the last 2 years is that I've been lacking that ebb and flow. I've been glued to my desk, and it was getting to the point where, God, come on, Kim, you're not moving. So I went and got a Fitbit, and that Fitbit goes off my wrist. You come on up 90 steps. 9 more. I'm like, oh my God, this thing is obnoxious, but it's so cool to track.
Yeah,
my steps. It's, and I know all this stuff as a business fitness owner, but it's just, we get into modes. So, one of the things that I like to do is I like to set time in my Microsoft Outlook calendar and say from 2 to 4, this is what I'm doing. I set an alarm. And once it comes to 4 o'clock, I don't like cut at 4 o'clock, but maybe 4 or 5, 4:10, if I'm in the middle of writing a sentence or something, that's it. I'm done. And then I move on to the next, what needs to be done, next. But so, Jodi, how did you become, how did leadership became one of your passions? How did that all evolve?
Oh my goodness. I mean, that it's probably been a lifetime thing, but when I went into college, I just found myself wanting to be more involved. Like I wanted a say in the decisions that were being made. I wanted to have an impact on my own college experience. And I went to a small college, which allowed for more opportunities to be in leadership. I think at bigger schools, like you can definitely become involved, but the leadership positions are few. And so I dabbled in leadership in college and I found I really liked it. I really liked, at being in that position, taking care of the people around me, being a decision maker, being a part of the discussion. And I find that and I'm totally okay with, being part of a team, right? And playing a supporting role. I can definitely do that. But what I find is over time, whether I'm trying to or not, I find myself in a leadership position. I think people just recognize that I am organized. If I am there, it's because I care. I don't invest time in things I don't care about. So if I'm there, if I'm showing up, it's something I definitely care about and I'm going to give energy and effort to it. And I think so naturally people recognize that. And eventually they're like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't, could you take over? Could you, I was in my B&I group, Business Networking International. It's an organization for networking. And in my particular chapter, I think I was there for a year and a half before people were like, all right, we want you to be president next year. And so, I just find that it's just part of who I am. I think I've recognized in myself, and Kim, you talked about this earlier, so many women who avoid leadership and don't want to step up and, they're playing small and they're putting things off. But what I find is when you do that, you also put off your life.
Mm-hmm.
And putting off making the things that you want to happen. We all have a picture of the life we want. And if you want that, well, guess what? It takes being a leader in your life. It takes talking about what you need and asking for help and stepping up and supporting others and finding those people who can join you and be on your journey. That's all leadership and that's life.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. So how can women work through, like their lack of self-doubt and the confidence, because what I find, if the here's what I find, and this is, this is my opinion. I find when women lack confidence, that old saying, "Ooh, I'm a woman and I don't want to walk into a room full of women." Well, I love walking into a room full of women because I'm like, especially if I don't know any of them, I'm like, cool. I'm gonna meet some new people. I'm very curious, and not only am I going to meet new people, I'm going to find out what they do. What's their passion? What's their, I get turned on by stuff like that. That's very invigorating for me when I'm out in public like that. I get to meet new people, but there are so many women out there that lack confidence, and when they lack the confidence, they go into the other C word of comparing, because Kate's white picket fence compared to my white picket fence, it's completely different compared to Jodi's white picket fence. But when we get into all that lack of self-doubt, lack of confidence, and then the comparing, the integrity becomes extremely compromised. And that's where we have, I'm going to say it, and I don't like this, I just don't like this, but I'm going to say it. That's where women start saying, oh, look at her. Her claws are out. Okay, we're not a cat. We're not a dog. We don't have claws. But that's where that backstabbing comes from. So how do you help women? Because confidence is like doing a bicep curl. It's a muscle. You got to build it. Some days it's stronger than others. Trust me. I go there. I ebb and flow with my confidence. Jodi, how do you help women really build and strengthen that confidence?
Well, we can definitely come at it a lot of different ways, but I think you pointed right to it where it's perspective. You have to have a clear perspective. And just like you said, Kim, we're not competing with each other. Like, I can look at what you're up to in the world and be excited for you without feeling like, oh, why don't I have my own radio station yet? Or look at Kate and be excited about what she has going on without feeling like, well, I don't have a magazine, right? I have my own goals. I have my own strengths. But what I find gives us confidence is, rather than competing with other women, is talking to other women. Sharing experiences. Like, if I did have a project coming up where I needed to coordinate with a lot of partners and it required a lot of deadlines and a lot of organization, what I might do is, now that I've met Kate, is follow her and see what she's doing. I know, right? Rather than competing with her, I'm gonna watch her. I'm gonna admire her, and maybe even I could get on a call with her and be like, Kate, how do you do it? How do you, because I think the thing is, sometimes we lack confidence because a lot is unknown. We're not sure of what all the pieces are. But if we can talk with other women who have already done what we want to do, what we often find is we get the milestones that we need to hit in the organization that we need. I find that when we're in community with women, and rather than feeling competitive with them, when we feel like we're partnering with them, we gain confidence, because then we don't feel like we're going it alone. When you don't know what you're doing and you feel like you're going it alone, as a woman, you are going to lack confidence. You are going to experience self-doubt. But by connecting with other women and chatting with them, you find a lot of that goes away.
Yeah, I like that. I always say to my community, because I built my entire career on collaboration, and I always say to my community that by ourselves we can move a stone and a rock, but together we can move a mountain. So it's really supporting each other in what you do. And instead of like going against somebody, it's like, what could they do? Having a relationship with them, how that could benefit you and how it could benefit them as well. So it works both ways. We can all work together instead of being against each other. I think it's absolutely ridiculous when people pull other people down. It just shows me that they have a lack of confidence, and they've got insecurities going on. And instead of just reaching out and say, how is it I can support you in what you're doing right now, and how you can support me in what I'm doing right now, really get together and work together, and you can create so much more bigger results and bigger goals and achieve so much more just by working together. And it's like I said, myself and Kim's careers have been built a lot on collaboration.
Mm-hmm. I won't do it any other way, because something, Jodi, what you said just a moment ago to me is completely priceless. Is, yes, we work in our homes, and a lot of us have our homes empty out, throughout the day. Kids go to school, partners, husbands go to work. In my case, dog goes on couch and sleeps, things like that. It gets really, you feel alone. And for me personally, I don't ever want any other woman business owner out there to, first of all, number one, to never, ever feel alone again. Because when you start feeling those aloneness, it does compromise the confidence. It does compromise the self-doubt and the self-worth and the self-esteem. And then we quit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I don't like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jodi.
Oh, no, I was gonna add to that, Kim, because another thing I work on with my clients, and you can get this through community too, if you're chatting with the right people who are really good at this. But one thing I work on with my clients is getting them to really recognize, identify, and own what they're really good at. What their strengths are. I call them their superpowers. And your superpowers are those things that you're really good at without thinking about it. And oftentimes, it's a superpower if you take it for granted and you assume everyone is good at it. But people give you feedback letting you know, like, oh, I wish I could do that, or you're so good at this. And you're like, anyone can do that. And they're like, no, I can't. Those are your superpowers. So really owning what you're good at, recognizing that, because that will give you confidence too. And I find sometimes, and confidence is, like we talked about, energy ebbing and flowing. Confidence is energy. It ebbs ebbs and it flows. Like there are some times where you feel like I'm going to take over the world. And then there are some days you wake up and you're like, I don't even know how I'm going to get to lunch. Right. I'm like, this day is so overwhelming. And, it's like you said earlier, it's a muscle that you build. It comes from recognizing where you bring value and what you're good at and surrounding yourself with people who help you to see who you really are. Right. That makes a big difference, too. And I'm going to keep coming back to community time and time again. If you're surrounded by women who are like, you're great at this, you're totally good, you've got this, no problem. What do you need from us? You're going to feel like you can take over the world. But if you don't have those people in your life, get them, find them, and surround yourself with them.
Yeah, I agree. I truly agree. I think, the bottom line, the main ingredient of the chocolate cake of our business, and now we're all going to be craving chocolate cake. The chocolate cake of our business is those relationships. And I think so many women coming in, they get desperate. The self-esteem has not been worked on yet as far as owning your own business. Because when we own our own business, we're out there selling ourselves. We're marketing ourselves. I don't care if we have a business name, a logo, a website. Bottom line, we're selling ourselves. And I think women start getting, a little too desperate. And they're like, oh my God, I gotta have these clients. I gotta pay this bill and I gotta prove to myself and I got this. But the bottom line is building those relationships helps with the momentum of our business. And that's where the tribe comes because, there's been days Kate's reached out to me, and banging her head in tears. And there's been days I've reached out to her in tears and just like, and then there's days Kate reaches out and we're like, woohoo. And I'm like, woohoo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the cheerleading. It's the baseball team of, the ups and downs, the ins and outs and the ebb and flow of everything, and I'm blessed. I have a lot of women across the world I can turn to. And I'm going to say this live. I've also had a few, not a lot, a few, I thought those women fell into that group that I thought I can turn to that really showed their true colors.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we've all had them. We all experience that on this journey. But it's what can we do and take from them to not place into our own journeys and make the same mistakes. So when something like that happens to me, or I experience something where somebody does something the way that I don't want to do it, or I don't like how it's turned out for them or how they're acting, I just look at that and think, right, I know not to be like that. I'm taking into account how you're reacting, how you're doing things, and that's not exactly how I want to do it. So, it's kind of like learning from everybody that's around us as well, with the good points and the bad points. So, yeah, I've been there millions of times, crying to Kim, going, "No, I quit today," and then it's like, I quit, give me the wine. And then the next morning, it's, "Morning, Kim, how are you?"
Yeah. We'll all go through it. And I think it's just it's a delusion of the mind, right? Our mind tells us, I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. And that's why it's so important to talk with somebody, because you're bouncing your delusions up against reality. And that person will be like, no, you're just tired. No, you had a bad day. You will get through this. And then common sense comes back and you're like, right, okay, I'm going to sleep on this and tomorrow I'll feel better.
Yeah. I'm all about taking that decompress, taking that break, and literally take the break, shut the PC off, shut the computer off, close some doors if you literally physically have a room, walk away, go for a walk, go do a load of laundry, or, something, go in the middle of the day, go to a movie, literally shut the brain off and watch a movie that doesn't take a lot of brain cells, or right now I'm reading some books that they're beach book turners. They're not professional personal development books. They're just a book to sit and enjoy, and it just decompresses for me personally. So, with all that being said, first of all, this show went way too fast. We've got almost like about another 10 minutes. Jodi, I've got some more questions too, but can you let everybody know how they can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. It's easy. You can find me at womentakingthelead.com. All my social media buttons there, the contact form, or if you want to email directly, it's Jodi, Jodi, at womentakingthelead.com. And I love it when people reach out to me.
I know you do. Yeah, and you're amazing. And so, Jodi, here's my last question. And I know Kate and I have got lots of comments for this one, but so what do you think it's going to take to have more women step up as leaders, as Miss CEO of as Facebook says? What's it going to take for women to lean in and step up?
Oh my gosh, that's such a big question. And I can see why you have a lot of comments lined up. One, I think it's going to take believing in themselves. I think that's really the key. You have to believe that you deserve it, that you're worth it, and then surrounding yourself with other women and some men. I mean, I don't want to exclude the men from this conversation because I've had some amazing mentors who were men, but I think really as a woman, when I got my first female mentor, that was just incredible for me because I knew she understood what it was like to look at the world from my perspective, and she got what I was up against. So, connecting with other women who are where you want to be, and learning from them, finding out from them. And it doesn't have to be, somebody personally in your life that you have coffee with. That's great. But it can also be this radio show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other podcasts who talk about women and leadership and what it takes, because this is the thing. It's not as complicated as we make it out to be. It can be very simple because all it is one foot in front of the other and taking the steps that are going to get you there. And like I said earlier, you will master the mindset and the skills that it will take to take the next step.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's one step at a time. They can be baby steps, big steps, but steps. And again, something, I'm a firm believer of relationships. And I'm one of those kind of persons. I'm out in public walking down the street and I'll see a woman I just did this morning when I was walking Grace. I saw a woman wearing this nice white shirt. I'm like, oh, gotta have it. Whose is it? Where'd you get it? This is how I shop. I'm like, I really like it. It looks great on you. And I do not let approaching people intimidate me whatsoever. I mean, yesterday, we were out having brunch and we sat at this local restaurant. We sat at the bar, my husband and I sat down. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have got to look at those two beautiful, stunning women across from me. And I never got a chance to tell them that because I got a little too busy in there. But I go up and I tell people, my God, I love your hair. It looks fabulous. I don't know who you are, but you are just absolutely beautiful. I'm like, and I don't hesitate calling people going, okay, Kate, what's this thing that you use? I'm using this. I want to hear what you're using. It may be better. Let me, I don't ever hesitate to ask anybody. And ladies that you are out there listening, build these relationships because these are the priceless things in life.
Yep, ask. Don't be afraid of asking. Be like Kim. She's reaching out to me all the time with technical stuff. What app are you using? How are you doing that? How are you doing? Tell me how you're doing that. But she wouldn't then know if she didn't ask. We sit in ourselves thinking, I'm afraid to reach out to her. She might bite my head off. No, it isn't like that whatsoever. It's that we cannot read minds. And just by reaching out to somebody, you'd be amazed how many people actually want to help you and how many say yes. And if nobody wants to help you in the first 5 people that you ask, then keep asking. You're obviously asking in the wrong direction. So Jodi, for the final question from me, what is the best advice on a single step to move forward? I mean, if you're from the beginning, say we'll go back to a newbie business owner, what is the best advice that you can give them for the first step to move forward, to really become the leader that they inspire to be? What is that first step?
I'm going to go back to, find the business owner out there that you admire and that you want to emulate, and get to know them. Be a part of their community, follow what they're doing, reach out to them and tell them, how much you admire them. And here's the bonus points. Think about what you can do to help them move their business forward and offer it up. We get by giving, and I don't mean that as a strategy or a tactical thing. I'm just saying that by giving to others, you will endear yourself to them, right? And they'll be much more open to helping you on your journey.
Brilliant.
I love it. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. Everybody listening, please track Miss Jodi down, and she's going to tell you how one more time.
I did. I'm already stalking her on Facebook.
I love it. Yep. You can find me at womentakingthelead.com, or you can email me directly at Jodi, Jodi, at womentakingthelead.com.
Awesome. And Jodi, anything that you want to share with the listeners? One last little tiny thing that you're really excited about, that anything new or what's going on that we need to look forward to coming up this fall or anything?
Yeah, we chatted about it right before we were hitting record. I am working on an ebook. What I'm doing is I'm taking my coaching system. There's a system I take my clients through when they first start working with me, and I'm putting it into an ebook, and I'm looking to have that published, available, and to be promoting it in September.
Ooh, excellent. Please reach out to me when that's all ready to rock and roll, because I want to get my hands on one.
I will do that.
And me.
Of course, we got to get Kate in there too. I know. So Jodi, thank you so much for joining Kate and I today. And do me a favor, have a seat, sit back in the green room. Kate and I are going to wrap the show up, and we'll come back and we'll join you momentarily. But thank you. I don't know about you, Kate. I could keep Jodi on for another hour. Not like she has anything else better to do, but I could keep her on for another hour.
How could you have anything better to do than talk to me and you? I mean,
I know
that's
there
just
isn't.
the highlight of everybody's day.
There isn't anything better.
I so want to meet Jodi in person, because Jodi, I am you have such this beautiful voice. It's so nurturing. It's very power filled, but it's just such a welcoming voice. So I can only imagine what you're like in person.
Oh, thank you, Kim. Yep, I've got a hug waiting for you for when we meet in person. That will be awesome.
Yeah, I cannot wait. So just sit tight, Jodi, and Kate and I will come back and join you momentarily. But yeah, you're right, Kate. What else more could there be better to do than hang with you and I, right? Listen.
Nothing. I can't think even better than eating is actually being with us. Yeah.
I know. I mean, we have no self-esteem or confidence issues. Oh man. Okay, let's wrap this show on up. We have down another show of you and I. Kate. So again, we are retiring. Wait a minute. Let me stand up in my studio here. I'm doing a retiring dance. I'm literally standing up doing a retiring dance. We are retiring from anthologies, and
woohoo!
I know. And we have one last one we are going to do before we close the doors and put everything to rest. And we're going to wrap up 2016 with it. So if you are interested in becoming an international best-selling author, because we have done this many times, we've got a proven strategy and it works every single time, join Kate and I. But here's the prereqs on joining Kate and I. You have to be bold, no pun intended. You have to peel back. You have to write about what it's like being a woman, being a leader, being a CEO, entrepreneur of your business. No bullshit, no holding back. And so we're asking the ones that are coming in, have decided to make the investment and come in, and to really just lay it on the line. Lay it on the line. So get in touch with Kate or I. You can get in touch with me at boldradiostation.com or kimbsmith.com, either one. And you can get in touch with Kate over at
themissingpiecemagazine.com, or you can find me on Facebook. We are really looking forward to sharing the real nitty-gritty of true business journeys with the world. The truth, the bold truth, and nothing but the truth. Nothing, no bullshit, as it is, what your journey's been like, what golden nuggets you can bring into your chapter that will help people in the world, because we're not down for all that plastic, crappy marketing. It's like, here we are, we've done this, we've worn the t-shirt, here's the experience, now share it with the world so that they can learn from it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's all say this too again. Oh my God, I cannot wait for Kate's magazine next year, 2017. I am one of the contributing writers. I cannot wait. It's going to be a beautiful magazine. Kate's worked real hard at this. She's still working hard at it. Gosh, what else? Bold Radio Station, we broadcast live. Any of you out there thinking about hosting a radio show and you don't want all the fuss and muss, reach on out, because that's what Bold does. We try to remove all the stress and fuss and muss from hosting your show. Come on down, reach out to myself or Lynn Brunette, and we'll guide you along on that journey. And oh my God, I got some things up my sleeves, but I am so not ready to make any announcements yet. He.
You sounded evil when you did that, like Dr. Evil. I've got things up my sleeve.
I've got things up my sleeves. I'm rubbing my hands. Anyways, I do. I have some things up my sleeves, and we've got some fun things going on about Bold Radio. So join Kate and I, same time, same place, right here next Monday at 1 o'clock for another Bold Biz Chats with amazing Bold CEOs. Track Kate down. If you're not stalking her on social media, go stalk her.
Yep.
Reach out to me if you need anything. And I think Kate's going to go have a glass of wine, and I'm going to get on with my afternoon.
Yep. So stalk me, stalk Kim, and stalk Jodi.
Yes, absolutely. Get out there and make it a great day, everybody. And we'll hear you right back here next week. Take care.
Bye.